Hello. Here we have Brucey, Grandpa Bruce, or known as Ampa Bruce.
That I might.
And Bruce is going to share 76 and a half years of wisdom with us today. And he's going to tell us about, I guess, his entire life from day one to day 70,000 and whatever. And so
It's not over yet.
Okay, so it's July the, what, 19th?
20th.
19th, July 19th, 2022. And it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And it's a rainy day. And we just finished a game of Scrabble. And
Interminable game of Scrabble.
And so, Bruce, tell us something about yourself.
I lost at Scrabble.
No, tell us when were you born?
I was born on October 19th, 1945.
So you were conceived before Hitler was dead.
Yeah.
So you could be reincarnated as
Yeah,
Hitler.
could be, yeah. I might not cry.
What about Mussolini? Could you be him, or was he dead before that?
No, he's dead around the same time.
Okay. And who's your parents?
John Goff and Francis Andrews Goff.
And where were you born?
Newcastle, New Brunswick. It's now known as Miramichi City, New Brunswick.
Okay. And where was Huey born?
Same place.
And is he your brother?
What do you think?
And Huey was born on what, March 24th, 1948?
Mm-hmm.
And so, do you remember being alive when Huey wasn't there yet?
No.
So you don't remember anything before Huey?
No, I don't think so.
You don't remember being an only child?
Being what?
An only child?
No.
So, tell us, what are your earliest memories of being alive?
Falling out of the car when I was 4. That's about the only thing I remember.
You remember actually falling out?
Yeah.
Did you get hurt?
Yeah. I didn't really feel pain. I was kind of numb. There was a lot of blood. I didn't like blood.
Where did you land?
On the ground.
No, on your
dirt road.
On your body.
I can't remember. My head.
And how did you fall out?
I opened the latch and out I went.
Where was your seatbelt?
There were no seatbelts in those days.
People didn't wear seatbelts.
No. There were no seatbelts.
Did your parents call OnStar to get help?
No. The truck driver falling behind picked me up and flagged them down. They took me to the doctor. It was near Red Bank, which is near Newcastle.
So you've been a liberal ever since.
Yeah.
How hard did you hit your head again?
That's not funny.
And was there anybody in the back seat with you?
So a little girl in the back seat, Mary Genevieve McCombs, and she was speechless. She got lockjaw or something. She couldn't say anything, and I talked a lot. And when they didn't hear me talking, they said, "How come Bruce was so quiet?" And they looked around, and the door was open. I was gone, and she was like this.
She wasn't talking like Matt McFadgen?
Like what? No.
Like Matt McFadgen after 25 drinks?
No.
Okay. So was Huey there for that?
I'm not sure. He must have been, but he would have probably been in the front seat with my mother.
So that's your first memory?
Baby. Yeah, pretty much.
You're a baseball fan. What do you have any early memories?
I remember them putting me in a carriage and wheeling me around. I can remember eating half a worm. And, they found half a worm in my hand, so I guess they assumed I ate it.
Well, you might not have.
Yeah, that was in my playtime.
What about what's your first memories of baseball?
I remember reading in the paper that there was Little League tryouts in Moncton when I lived in Moncton at Kiwanis Park, and I begged my dad to take me up. He didn't want to because he didn't really like sports, team sports. So he took me up and dropped me off, and I tried out and made the farm system. We won the Moncton City Championship that year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, how old were you?
Eight or nine, I don't know. Eight, I think.
So like 1953?
Would have been, 50, would have been 54, because I didn't turn 9 till October.
So
I would have been
do you remember when's the first memory watching or listening to baseball? Like Major League Baseball?
I don't know. I just remember that I was a Brooklyn Dodger fan.
For what reason?
I don't know. I just liked the color of their uniforms. And
But you had black and white TV. How did you know what their color was?
well, I used to buy sports magazines and read them. You know.
Those weren't black and white? The magazines had color?
Yeah, they color. Sport magazine.
Was the grass green or was it black and white?
What, in the pictures?
No, like when you walked into your house.
Green.
So things weren't black and white?
No, just pictures, that's all.
So did you find it weird that the pictures were black and white, or was that normal?
Back in the day, there wasn't much color photography that was available, so...
Did you think it was weird that there was no color in the photos?
No.
You didn't think, wow,
No.
this is really old-fashioned?
Maybe spies and that could color photos.
But you didn't think it's weird that in reality everything's in color,
color.
but then when there's a picture taken, it's black and white?
No.
Did you think it was pretty
Just
cool
figured,
that...
well, they haven't invented color photography yet. Turned out they had invented it, but it wasn't widespread. Most people didn't have access to it.
So when's the first time you heard about Adolf Hitler and World War II?
I don't know.
Were you little?
Probably. My father was in the war, so
Did you see pictures of your dad anywhere dressed in military uniform?
yeah. Well, we had them all over the place.
So did you ever ask, like, what's going on here?
Oh yeah, he told me. He told me stuff what he did.
So how long were you in the Miramichi for?
5 years.
So you were 5 years old when you moved?
I went to kindergarten there, and then when we moved to Moncton, I went to grade 1 in Moncton.
So you only stayed in Miramichi for 5 years?
Yeah, till I was 5. We moved to Moncton.
So in 1950 or 51?
I think it might have been 51, because I was going into grade 1, like I did kindergarten in Newcastle, so I was going into grade 1. That would have been sometime in 51, probably the summer.
So then you moved.
I remember my first day of school. I remember my mother taking me to school to get registered at Edith Cavell School, which was not very far from where I lived. And I remember getting my first vaccination.
Was this in Moncton?
Yeah. And I don't remember really finding it all that big a deal.
So you got vaccinated against some, like, Black Death, maybe? Is the Black Death around?
Polio, no. Black Death, no.
Okay.
6 centuries ago or more.
Oh.
8 centuries ago.
So was there vaccinations for measles?
What?
Was there vaccinations for measles?
For who?
Measles.
Needles.
Yeah. Measles.
Weasels?
Measles.
Oh, measles. Yeah, there was.
For measles.
But I actually had measles at one point.
Yeah, but back then, science was science, right?
Yeah, well, I think it was polio we got first. We got other needles. I think I eventually got one for measles and smallpox and stuff like that.
Did it hurt?
Yeah, but it wasn't that bad.
Did you have, like, side effects?
No.
Were there anti-vaxxers back then?
I don't remember anybody being against it, because a lot of people used to die of those things.
Because they were real.
Yeah, they were real.
So there's never anti-vaxxers when things are real, though.
I don't remember anti-vaxxers till about 3 years ago. You know.
Well, there's been anti-vaxxers for 20 years.
Yeah, well, they stayed down in their, what do you call it?
Well, no, they were complaining about autism, like, because there's a correlation. I mean, it's a small correlation, but it exists.
Next question.
And many scientists and experts acknowledge that, you know.
Who's doing the interview here, you or me?
Well, I'm just saying. Jenny McCarthy's an expert, so.
She's an idiot.
She's got big boobs.
Yeah, she's still an idiot.
Well, let's see, what else can we think of here?
I lived in Moncton until I was 11 3/4. And then my dad got transferred to Toronto. Playing Little League Baseball.
Is this 1956 or 57?
57. We moved from Moncton July 27th, 1957. My dad went to Toronto ahead of us to buy a house, start his job. We took the train to my Aunt Marion's and Uncle John's in Cornwall, Ontario. We stayed there for 2 weeks.
Is Marion your dad's sister?
Yeah. We stayed there for 2 weeks till my dad.
Was she younger or older?
Younger.
Was she older than Lillian?
Yeah, I think she was older. I think Lillian was the youngest kid in the family.
And that's Betty Jane and John Kiley's mother?
Yeah.
So then you moved from Moncton to, where, Montreal or Toronto?
Toronto.
Okay. And you were 11?
Yeah, I was 12 that October, but we moved there we moved to Toronto in August.
And did you like Moncton?
Yeah, I liked Moncton. I had a lot of friends, and my dad thought some of them were a little bit sketchy, but anyway.
Well, let's continue that in part 2.